Why sociology? Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to talk about the basics of how to choose any optional, right? 2-3 things which I'm going to do. I'm not going to talk against any subject. Don't expect that from me, right? Whatever subject you may choose at the end of the day, do a few things, choose the best possible subject which suits you, okay? See, normally the mistakes that we do while choosing an optional subject, we talk to other people, try to understand from them, and based on their experiences, we choose our optional. That's the worst possible thing to do. Okay? If you ask me how to choose an optional subject, I would be saying that look into 2-3 things. Number one, take out the basic books on the subject. By basic books, we mean, okay. Okay. By basic books, I mean the NCERTs. So even for sociology, there is one book on Indian society of class 12 NCERT on Indian society. That's a very good book to understand what this subject is all about, right? At the same point of time, I would also ask you to go through previous year's questions. Look into previous year's questions, what kind of questions are being asked, okay? Any subject for that matter to select, that should be the way. But there is another way, which we'll be doing today in the class. I'll take up one topic intentionally and I'll be going through that topic. I'll study that topic. Typically the way we are going to study that topic in case of the regular subject, right? See whether you're being comfortable with that topic or not. That's the best possible way, because here it's not just about the subject, it's also about me. Are you being comfortable with me or not? Right? Fine. Now, not only that, at the same point of time, I would also be talking about certain features of sociology. Okay? How many here in the class you have already decided about sociology as a subject? First tell me that. Okay. For the others, let's talk about the advantages that sociology provides us. I'm looking at one of these subjects with the smallest possible syllabus. Have you gone through the syllabus of GS properly? If you do that, you will realize practically everything that comes under the sun is part of your syllabus. In this backdrop, if you ask me, I would always prefer a subject which has genuinely a small syllabus. Right? And that's where sociology comes in. The two papers that we look at now, paper 1 and paper 2 of sociology, they're actually not two papers, they are just one paper. That division is artificial division. Why artificial division? Say in sociology paper 1, we'll be going through the principles, right? The principal theories of any aspect which we are going to study. And in paper 2, we'll be looking at their application in India. Now, you tell me, while writing answer, can you separate the principles from the examples, from the application on the ground? Because even in paper 1, while writing answers for paper 1, I'll be needing that application part. If you've looked into the questions of GS, General Studies, you have seen again and again UPSC asks you to prove yourself, right? To give suitable examples to justify your answer. Again and again these kind of phrases are used. With suitable examples justify your answer, elucidate or substantiate, right? In case of optional as well, these kind of questions are there, whether in paper 1 or in paper 2. How are you going to do that without the examples of paper 2? Right? So these two papers that I'm looking at, they are actually one paper. They are not two papers. Right? Result, this small size of the syllabus. Point number 1. Point number 2, paper 2 is a bit dynamic. What do I mean by dynamic? Based on current affairs. Things are continuously changing there. A few things are genuinely changing there. Say for that matter, I am looking at, say, the issues which are going on right now, even right now in my society. I'm looking at the rainbow revolution, in a sense, which is happening. Right? I am looking at the right of the LGBTQ community. What's happening? A traditional understanding which has been there in the society since long is now being challenged. Just imagine, it was in 1588, Britain, where an act was passed called Bagadi Act. Based on this Bagadi Act, in 1861, Section 377 of IPC was instituted. This was included. What does this say? Or what it used to say? Homosexuality is a criminal offense. Right? Not just homosexuality. This used to talk about any form of unnatural sex. Homosexuality is not the only form of unnatural sex that was talked about here. You all are grown-up people. When we talk about unnatural sex, yes, people are genuinely weird. I'm also looking at bestiality. If I have to follow Google tells me there are weird kind of people in India and Pakistan who also search for sex with donkeys. What kind of sexual preference is that? I don't know. That is called bestiality, sex with beasts. That too is a form of unnatural sex. Right? Section 377 says any form of unnatural sex is punishable offense because that is a kind of criminal offense, including homosexuality. Okay? Homosexuality was added because of Bagadi Act. For long this went on. From 1861 to 1950 without any question. Good. We all know that on 26th of January 1950 our constitution came to effect. Right? With the constitution coming to effect, one particular provision of the constitution, Article 21, that also came into effect. As we look at Article 21 in its original form, there was no problem of Article 21 with Section 377 of IPC. So it remained there. Why? What Article 21 says? Personal liberty and right to life and personal liberty. Right to life and personal liberty. Fine. There was no contradiction between Article 21 and Section 377. So this carried on. It was way later in 1978 Maneka Gandhi and others versus Union of India, when the Supreme Court would change the meaning of Article 21. This is also a form of amendment, right? Please try and understand the aspects of Constitution here. Who's the protector of Constitution in India? It is the President who takes oath to protect and defend the Constitution, not the judiciary. The protector of the Constitution is the President of India. But he is not the final interpreter of the Constitution. He is the protector of the Constitution. Now, Constitution, if we need our Constitution to be a living document, a document which is well adapted along with the time, we need to interpret and reinterpret the Constitution again and again. That right has been given to the Supreme Court. Result, in Maneka Gandhi versus Union of India, this particular case, the Supreme Court would reinterpret Article 21. It will be Maneka Gandhi who would give the logic that my Constitution gives me, Article 21 gives me right to life. What kind of right to life is this? Because even a dog on the road has right to life. Is that the kind of right to life my Constitution is talking about? No, it's not. My Constitution is talking about right to life like a human being. Now let me ask you, what is the most basic ingredient of the right of the life of a human being? You tell me. What is the most basic ingredient of your life? Food, shelter. If say there is a human being and I give the human being food just like food are given to stray dogs, I just throw the food down there. Will that be okay with that human being? Dignity. What differentiates you and me from the animals is our sense of dignity, self-respect. Nah? That's the most basic ingredient. This logic by Maneka Gandhi would be accepted by the Supreme Court that yes, true. Our Constitution is talking about right to life like a human being, not like animals. Food, shelter, even the animals are given all these things at times. When it rains, even the stray dogs, they come to our houses, we don't kick them out. We allow them to be there. At max, what do? We take out an old towel or something of that sort, we give it to that dog. You stay there. Is that the kind of treatment a human being should also be deserving from us? No. Settle down faster. Okay? So what we realized, or what this particular case told us, that the most basic ingredient of the life of a human being is dignity. The Supreme Court will accept that understanding and will change the meaning of Article 21. The words will still remain the same. See, this is the beauty of change in meaning done by the Supreme Court. When the Supreme Court changes the meaning, the words remain the same. If you go through Article 21, even today, Article 21 reads, right to life and personal liberty. But the meaning that immediately got changed, 1978. What is the meaning? Right to life with dignity. Right to life with dignity and personal liberty. Clear? Now see what happens. This is 1992. There was an epidemic going on in India. 1992-93, during that time, epidemic of HIV and AIDS. Achha, let me tell you one thing. They are two separate things, guys. HIV and AIDS are not the same thing. HIV is a virus. If the presence of virus is found in the bloodstream of any individual, that person is called HIV positive. Okay? Human immunodeficiency virus, HIV. Right? Someone being HIV positive does not mean that that person is suffering from AIDS. Right? AIDS is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, which is a disease. So there is a difference between the two. Even an HIV positive person can lead a properly healthy life, including sexual relationship. Today there are precautions and preventions, medical interventions, because of which even an HIV positive person can also lead an equally healthy sexual life. Doesn't matter. Clear? But in case of AIDS, yes, our knowledge is still very limited in terms of treatment of AIDS. Clear? How to, we can't reverse back this particular disease. Right? That's where the limitation is still existing. In any way, 1992 onwards, a kind of epidemic would start in India about HIV positive infections and about acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. An organization would be formed called NACO, National AIDS Coordination Committee, NACCO actually. Today the name has become NACO, National AIDS Control Organization. At that point of time it was NACO, NACCO, National AIDS Coordination Committee. Okay. NACO, they associated with number of NGOs. Okay. There was one NGO working in Delhi who would associate with NACO, called the NAZ Foundation. These people, they were doing everything in their capacity to bring this epidemic under control. NACO and NAZ Foundation. But in Delhi area especially, things were not getting under control. They worked for 6 straight years, nothing was happening. 1998, every effort was failing. Genuinely a concern that what's happening. NAZ Foundation, they thought, is there any drawback that we are doing? They went for a survey. The survey told us that no, they did everything. These sex workers were properly sanitized and they were sensitized. They were told that please do not go for any kind of sexual relationship without protection. In the red lighted areas, dispensation machines were installed for protective items, condom and others. Periodic testing of the vulnerable section was also being done to identify if anyone has become all of a sudden victim of whether HIV or of AIDS. Everything was being done properly. Even then, God knows how, this infection was not coming under control. They went for a deeper survey. A unique, startling revelation came. What's the revelation? Completely a separate group of people who were not thought about till now. They are the primary victims from where things are spreading, especially lesbian, gay and bisexuals. Why? I am looking at homosexuals, right? People having relationship with same sex. This is ordinarily considered, or this was considered under section 377 as a criminal offense. What was happening? These people, yes, they were intentionally trying to hide their sexual preferences. And while trying to hide their preferences, they were avoiding use of any kind of protective mechanism. Whether condoms or others, they were not using that. Why? Say a boy. Let's take an example of a boy. A boy who lives away from his family in Delhi, took a flat on rent and was living there. The house owner knows that the boy doesn't have any girlfriend. The boy might be gay. Okay, not known to people. The house owner knows that the boy doesn't have any girlfriend. But his other friends, his male friends, they used to come to the house. Fine, okay, friends, they can come. If this boy goes to the local medicine shop to buy a condom, what will happen? Immediately talks will start. Even his house owner will come to know that this boy went there to buy condom, but he doesn't have a girlfriend. Girls don't come to his house. So why did he went to buy a condom? Now, they would give a call to the police. That high chances this boy is a homosexual, is a gay. Number one, think of the social stigma. Number two, when the police comes and take these kind of people to custody, they become bigger victims. Within the police custody, we have seen the kind of torture that they face. Becoming homosexual as if is the biggest sin in the world, where both other inmates in the jails and the police personnel, they both exploit them sexually. To protect themselves from these kind of ordeals, these people, they were hiding their sexual preferences. And while hiding their sexual preferences, they were making themselves far more vulnerable to this problem. Year 1999. NAS Foundation will take this issue up with Delhi High Court. Why? Simple logic. The Supreme Court of India in 1978 told us that Article 21 talks about right to life like a human being, right to life with dignity. Can anyone tell me that these people, they are not citizens of India? They are also equal citizens of India, just like me, just like you. Right? Now the question is, if they are also equal citizens of India, they also have the protection of Article 21. They also have the right to live their life like a human being with dignity. What dignity are they having? Because if you talk about immorality, what is immoral? Immoral is you doing any indecent action in public. They are not doing anything in public. They're even scared to lead their sexual preferences in the privacy of the room. What they do in the privacy of their room, that's their concern. The state should not be having any right to say anything here. Clear? Result? NAS Foundation's point that this particular section, section 377 of IPC, is actually violating the new meaning of Article 21. This cannot be allowed. The Supreme Court will the Delhi High Court will take up this issue. They will look into this. For 10 years, discussion will go on. From 1999 to 2009. Finally, in 2009, the Delhi High Court will accept that yes, what they are saying is right. Section 377 is violating the new meaning of Article 21. Now, a person, some Hindu Raksha Manch or something of that sort, I'm losing the name of that organization. There are always these Raksha Manch and God knows what they are protecting. A person by the name Suresh Kumar Kaushal. Okay? He will take the issue to Supreme Court. What's happening? This is against the traditional values of India. Hey, what traditional values of India? In the traditional values of India, tell me, what about the Ashwini Kumars? You call them gods and goddesses. Gods. Take out your phones. Search for Ashwini Kumars. Not Ashwini Kumar, the minister, please. After Ashwini Kumars, put gods. Who are they? Now let's look into the story of Ashwini Kumars and Madri. Rather, let's type it this way: Ashwini Kumars plus Madri plus Nakul and Sahadev. See what comes out. I'm looking at Mahabharata. What's the story? Don't make me say it in front of camera. Tomorrow I'll be in jail. Right? But that's there in our mythologies. The two brothers together and Madri. That's how the twins, Nakul and Sahadev, they were born. And you're talking about tradition. What am I looking at? I'm actually looking at bisexuality. Right? Anyway. They are always hurt. There are a group of people who are always hurt. Right? So, this guy was also hurt. He'll take this issue to the Supreme Court. What kind of judgment is this by the Delhi High Court? The Supreme Court will look into it. Listen to the verdict of Supreme Court. The Supreme Court will give its verdict in 2013. 4 years discussion. The Supreme Court gives its verdict. The Supreme Court says the Delhi High Court was absolutely right. Genuinely, homosexuality being considered a sexual offense violates Article 21 of Indian Constitution. But to make laws is the job of the legislature, is the job of the parliament or the state legislative assemblies. To make laws is not the job of the court. Right? If the court starts making laws, what happens? The court interferes in the area of the legislature. This is called judicial overreach, where the judiciary, they go beyond their area and they start interfering in the working of other organizations, other institutions, which should not happen. So the Supreme Court says that, see, we do accept that, yes, Section 377, by making homosexuality a criminal offense, is violating Article 21. But to make laws is the job of the legislature. So the Supreme Court will make a request to the legislature, to the Parliament, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha together, that please look into this issue with genuine sincerity and concern. And the Supreme Court will reinstate Section 377. That no, let it be there. Let the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha together take a call on this. Okay? 2013, UPA 2 government, they passed by. 2014 election, they lost. New government came. 2 more years went by. 2016, right? From 2013 to 2016, a total of 3 years. Nothing doing. Another social activist by the name Navtej Singh Johar, again he'll take the issue to Supreme Court. 2 points. Note down both the points because they both are significant. Point number 1, Article 21 is inalienable. Look at the spelling, please. What does this mean? No one can take away this right from you. This is one particular right, Article 21, which no one can take away at any given point of time from you. Even if there is an emergency, right? Say the government has declared emergency, doesn't matter. Article 21 will remain there. You will get that protection of Article 21. Okay? Navtej Singh Johar says that this is supreme. This is one right which is supreme. Our constitution says that this right cannot be taken away. And what is this right? Right to life like a human being, right to life with dignity and personal liberty. And what is happening? Just because our MPs, our members of parliaments, they didn't find it right, they didn't find it proper. So a section within the society, they are devoid of that right. Being born in India or being a citizen of India, that is inalienable, no one can take away. But this section, they don't have that right. Why? Because our MPs did not find the time to look into the issue. What nonsense is this? That's the first point. Okay? Point number 2, again the same concern that homosexuality, how can that be a criminal offense? Because when two consenting adults, two people who are above 18 years of age, they consent that, okay, fine, let's get into this relationship, and they do it in the privacy of their room, who am I, who are you, or who's the state to say anything there? In Hindi, there is a proverb, jab Miyan Biwi razi to kya karega kazi? Right? It's the same philosophy here. The two people, if they agree, if they are okay with that, who are we to say anything there? Right? You're talking about immorality, you're talking about indecency, and then you're doing all that nonsense on the streets, spitting on the streets and everything. That's not indecent. Go anywhere and see men and boys peeing on the road, right? That's not indecent. How many boys here, let me be very honest, have peed on the road? Tell me. Even I have done when I was a kid. We all did, right? And how many of us have spent time in jails? That was indecent. Did we bother to realize that the girls who were passing by, they were not comfortable? Have you properly noticed how the girls that travel in the metro railways or in the trains or in the public buses? They would always be carrying their bags in front of them. That kind of beasts we are. That girls, even while traveling, they don't feel safe with us. And we talk about decency. Guys, go wash your face. Clear? Result, these 2 points. When Navtej Singh Johar was talking about these 2 points, he got a boost. How come? A different case. We normally know that case as Aadhaar verdict. Okay, formal name, Justice K.S. Puttaswamy. And others versus Union of India. The Supreme Court accepts in this case that privacy is also paramount for dignity. Whether you're a boy or a girl, I'm just asking you this simple question. Okay? Say another boy or another girl was changing dresses or changing his or her dress inside a room. Okay? Some idiot recorded that through the keyhole or through some other means, discreetly, and then published it online. What that idiot did is breach of privacy. But now tell me about dignity of that guy or of that girl. The dignity you talk about, yes, privacy is an integral part of that dignity. That's what this verdict tells us. Okay? The moment this verdict came out, Navtej Singh Johar would add something to his argument. That these people, in any given circumstances, they were doing it in the privacy of their room. They were not doing it in public. When 2 consenting adults, in the privacy of the room, they are indulging in any sexual relationship, who are we to interfere in that matter? Who are we to talk about that matter? Clear? Result, 2018. the Supreme Court would finally strike down homosexuality from the list of unnatural sexes considered as criminal offense under section 377. Guys, this is the difference. Be careful. When we go through the newspaper reports, it feels like section 377 has been scrapped. No, it has not been scrapped. Section 377 is still there. Those idiotic actions, bestialities and all, they are still criminal offenses. Okay? What has happened is, a part of this, homosexuality, which was previously considered as an unnatural sex, right? And being an unnatural sex was also considered as criminal offense. That has been struck off. So homosexuality is no more a criminal offense or a form of unnatural sex. That's what has happened. That's the change that has happened. Clear? So now tell me, when these kind of changes happen, naturally our syllabus gets changed. These do have effect on our studies. Why? I am looking at change in values. Our values are getting changed. Our ideas are getting changed. Let me accept something here very honestly. I, in spite of being a student of sociology, previously I never understood these people. To me, this was very, very uncomfortable an issue. Even to me. Why to deny that? Later on, for the reason of being in Delhi and being a field researcher, I was going through these things. I was looking at what was going on. I was looking at that research report of NAS Foundation. Even with other NGOs, I went through some surveys. One basic thing I realized, guys, whether we understand them or not, that's not the concern. Right? Even today, if you ask me why these things happen, why people behave differently, I don't know. I'm not a psychologist. I'm a sociologist. Right? But one thing I have to accept, I cannot deny them this right. As citizens of India, their rights, they themselves merit their rights. That's not dependent on my ideas, my opinions. I am no one to tell them what to do, what not to do. I should know my limit. While telling others what to do and what not to do, I would be interfering in their personal space. I would be encroaching in their life, which I cannot do. Which right no one has. Clear? It's as simple as that. Whether we like it or not, they have their rights. We can't deny that. Clear? So now tell me about this issue. The bigger thing, I was actually planning to study something else. I was planning to study stratification and caste system. We'll do that. But even here, let me be very honest, I didn't hold myself. When I was studying this topic, I went to the fullest extent. I studied it holistically, with every possible dimension. How much difficult was it for you to understand? Tell me that. Because this is sociology. Clear? This is the subject. Let's come back to what I was talking about. See, no doubt this subject has one of the smallest syllabuses. At the same point of time, the dynamism I'm looking at in this subject, you need that dynamism even for GS. Without this studying of current affairs, what are you going to do with your GS papers? And then again, both in GS paper 1 as Indian society and GS paper 2 as social justice, what you're looking at is part of this subject. And essay paper, if you consider yourself to be the most unlucky person in the world, you will get at least one essay from this paper, this particular subject. At least one essay. Okay, that's not over yet. I'm genuinely looking at a subject which can ensure 300 plus in optional. Possible. Yes, with sociology 300 plus out of 500 is possible. Do you know what that means? If you can secure 300 in sociology and say you do very badly in the other papers of GS, still 90 marks out of 250, right? 90 into 4, how much it comes? 360. 360, 300, 660. At least 120 in essay, 780. Do you know I'm looking at one of the top ranks? I am looking at anything. Now if you be decent, don't do the foolishness what I did in interview. That's good enough. You don't need to be arrogant and a typical brat there. So if you be decent, I am looking at the rank between 150 plus, within that, above 150. Clear? Sociology will never ensure whether you top the examination. That is completely based on your own capability. Right? But sociology throughout the years has been ensuring that more number of candidates they qualify. And this I'm saying from the study of last 5 years annual report of UPSC. I'm looking at a subject which has been consistently giving 10% plus results. Say if 1200 people with sociology appear in the examination, be sure at least 120 plus they would be securing the results. There are very few subjects who provide such consistent results. Sociology is one of them. And why so? Guys, you all are born and brought up in the society. Right? If you're planning to be a civil servant, that means the first requisite thing is you need to open up your eyes and ears. If you do that, you're already looking at your society. Tell me in the class, how many of you have never heard of caste system in India? Or tell me, now the question I'll ask you, you might think, no, this doesn't happen. Any section in India, any religious community even, where I am not looking at caste-like divisions. Chalo, let's do it. Take out your phones. Search for Shillong riot, May 2018. Shillong, capital of Meghalaya. Shillong riots, May 2018. 2018. Who were the two communities? Khasis and Harijan Sikh. Look at the term carefully. Not just Sikh, Harijan Sikh. What's the meaning of Harijan Sikh? SCs. Practically untouchables. They are Sikh. But they have always been treated as untouchables. Why? Because the profession that they used to indulge in is that of sweepers, cleaners. What am I looking at? Caste system in Sikhism. Right? Let's get into this topic. When we have raised this issue up in the class, fine, let's understand what happened here. Guys, one more thing, this is my problem. Number one, if a topic is raised in the class, I would always like to study the topic by going to its depth. Right? Never deal with anything superficially. Because if you study anything superficially, you leave loopholes. Guys, I'm not going to set the question paper of UPSC. Right? What I can do, I can make you work here. You work here, you take the pen here, so that when you face the questions there, things become easier for you. That's my philosophy. So if you decide to go ahead with me, be prepared for three things, sorry. Number one, any topic will be going in depth. Clear? Number two, after every topic, I'll be taking up previous questions. Right? And I'll be Pakistan International Airlines for you. Think of the short form and you'll realize what I meant. Why? Bro, your examiner will not even know your name. When you write the exam, the Chitragupta Maharaj will be roaming there, the invigilator. He'll again and again be telling you not to write your name or roll number on any other page other than the front page. This is not college exam, this is not university exam. You can't take extra sheets. Right? Questions are given on the answer sheet only. And then space is given. You have to write within that space. You overshoot, that's your problem. Three things would be rationed in this examination. Time, word, space. This is UPSC. Don't write stories of movies here. What happened in KGF 2, no one wants to know. Okay? Nothing happened. It's one of the wastage of time, biggest wastage of time that I realized after watching that movie. So, anyway, let's come back. So, what's happening? What happens is, when you submit the copy, UPSC just tears out the front page and then put a unique number on the front page and the same number on the copy. Now the copy is sent to the examiner for correction. The examiner will just get that unique number, that's it. The examiner will never know whose copy it is. Just based on the answer you have written, the examiner will give you marks. Okay? And we all great Rabindranath Tagore's and God knows what not. We all are so skillful in writing, right? We need to write in a systematic way. So yes, I will be paying somewhere. Okay? Lastly, never hesitate to ask questions in my class. Again and again I'm saying this. Even the slightest possible doubts, get it cleared in the class. Why? You carry the doubt with you back to your home. This doubt now will start contaminating other ideas. So please don't carry any doubt with you. Whatever doubt you have, in the class only, let's solve it. If you tell me maybe what others will think, to hell with the others. Believe me, the question that comes to your mind, that question also comes to others' minds. They also, just like you, hesitate in asking questions. Right? There is a statement in Hindi, again I'm referring to that proverb in Hindi, पहले आपके चक्कर में लखनऊ वालों की गाड़ी छूट गई थी. Meaning, Lucknow is ordinarily considered a city of tehzeeb. Okay. It's called Ganga Jamuna Tehzeeb. Tehzeeb means very, what to say? Etiquettes. Okay. They're people who are very decent people. They would never try to hurt anyone's sentiment, anyone's emotion. No, those days are gone. Today, Lucknow is something else. Anyway, that used to be Lucknow at one point of time. Okay? Center of Awadh. That's why that kind of culture was there. Now, two Lucknow elites, they came to get into the train. Right? They both are supposed to get into the train. So the first elite, the first person, he told the second person, please you get in first. How can the second person get in first? That will be rude. So he in turn told the first person, no, you get in first. And they kept on telling each other, no, you get in first, you get in first. By the time the train left, don't do that. You'll hesitate, should I ask the question? Your friend will also hesitate, should I ask the question? By the time class will be over. Don't do that. Any question comes to your mind, just ask it. At least in my class, there is no reason to think twice before asking. Clear? So these three things should be there. Right? So this is sociology. Let me do something here. The topic that I chose, I'm going to go for that topic here. Okay? Caste system. What is caste? What's the meaning of caste system? I'm typically looking at the topic from the point of view of your paper 2. Okay? What I'm looking at is dividing the society, division of the society. How come? Ordinarily in the class, I'll be studying two communities. At first, in my discussion, I'll always be talking about the Hindus, but then I'll also be talking about the Muslims. Guys, one community I'm looking at with 72% population, the other community I'm looking at with 14% population, 70 to 78% population, 78 and 14% population. These are the two largest communities in India. Clear? So my study will never be complete if I don't study both of these communities. I may excuse the Christians, I may excuse the Sikh, I may excuse the Buddhist, the Jains, the Parsis, but these two communities I cannot excuse. Yes, they are considerable population in the country. 14%, that's what the proportion of Muslims are? Tell me, 14% of 1.35 billion, how much is that? $135 crore, that's what you are now. 1.35 billion. So 14% of 1.35 billion, 135 crore, how much is that? Almost 20 crores? 20 crore, is that a small number? That's more than the total population of Japan. That's practically 7 times the population of Australia. 7 times. Can I ignore that 20 crore population? I cannot. Clear? Chalo, let's look into things. Ordinarily, the understanding, I'm going for that. Varnashram Dharma. It says that the Hindu society, the Hindu section, is divided into how many groups? Okay. Let's start from somewhere else. For the Hindu section, this idea originally is dominant among the Hindu section. Right? All the other sections, Muslims, Christians, Sikh, they actually imbibed it from the Hindus. Let's be very honest here. In India, whenever any religion came to India, we just Indianized that religion. Guys, we make pastas with jeera, cumin in that. Na? We take everything from outside and then we Indianize that. The kind of noodles, hakka noodles that we prepare, na? Get a Chinese, bring him here, make him eat that, the Chinese will die next day. We Indianize everything. So even the religions which came from outside, they also came to India and we Indianized them. Okay? Now let's see what happened. I'm looking at one of the ancient most scriptures called Rigveda Dasam Mandala. Okay? Rigveda. This is the oldest of the Hindu scriptures. This scripture is actually divided into various chapters, 10 chapters. Okay? I'm looking at the 10th chapter, the last chapter. So Rigveda, 10th mandala, 10th chapter. In this 10th chapter, there is a section called Purush Sukta. It is here in Purush Sukta mentioned that from the Almighty, from the body of the Almighty, okay, from the face of the Almighty came the Brahmins, right? Since the head is there, so the Brahmins are the thinkers, philosophers. From the arms of the Almighty came the Kshatriyas, okay? From the thigh of the Almighty came the Vaishyas. And from the feet of the Almighty came the Shudras. So 4 section? Wrong. 5 sections. This particular scripture, it talks about 4 sections, no doubt. But they all are born from the body of the Almighty. Right? How can any of them be untouchable? If you consider any of them as untouchable, what happens? You insult the Almighty. Na? When you go to the temples, don't you touch the feet of the deity? So if Shudras are coming from the feet of the deity, how can they be untouchables? No, they are not. They are OBCs today. So there is someone even below them, right? At various places they are called by various names. Somewhere they are called Ati Shudra. Somewhere they're called Namashudra. Somewhere they're called Adi Dravidians. Untouchables. Clear? The idea is, this section, this fifth section, they are so polluted that if you mention them in the scripture will get polluted. That's why they are not mentioned in the scripture. Guys, you have been racist. You have been exploiters. Without these people, you could not have survived. They are the lifeline of the society. But they have always been the biggest victim. Clear? They are the SCs, scheduled castes. So effectively, how many categories are there? 5 categories. You go out, ask any Brahmin, even the Brahmin will tell you there are 4 categories. Why? That's what is mentioned in the scripture. Scripture is not everything, yaar. You've been doing a lot of nonsense in the society. What about that? Right? My question would always be to your common sense. You tell me, are they there in the society or not? In the scripture, they are not mentioned for a simple reason. What is the simple reason? That if you mention them in the scripture, in the Rigveda will get polluted. That was the idea of the Brahmins and the others. Especially these two. They have been looting the society. Me being a part of them, let me be very honest, I'm not proud of my heritage. No, I'm not. For thousands of years, what has been going on in my society was not actually right. Clear? So now tell me, what is this? Okay? So, if I have to talk about the features here, the first feature I'm looking at, segmental division of the society. The society divided into various segments, right? I'm looking at restrictions on privileges and rights. Rights to worship, rights to enter the temple, even right to dress. I'm going to show you one particular system because of which we all should feel ashamed that this was ever practiced in our society. This went on in Kerala, in the state of Travancore till 1920s. Okay? That's the last example. But at one point of time, this was practiced across India. Again, take out your phones, search for Mulakaram. Mulakaram. Even to protect the basic dignity, these women, they had to pay taxes, and before that, the Brahmin tax collectors here, they used to grope them. What practice are you talking about here? That's what we have been doing with our mothers, our sisters, for millennia, for thousands of years. We were talking about decency a while back, na? Tell me about the decency here. Now tell me about that point. Restrictions on privileges and rights. Now let me talk about restrictions on marriages. They can only marry within their caste community, right? Within their varna. Not even within their varna. We have studied half of it. Let's look at it properly now. ICSSR, Indian Council of Social Science Research. Okay? 1972, they would be doing a survey, pan-India survey. What would be found? That these so-called 5 varnas, we call them caste because the Britishers started calling them caste. The actual word is varna. Okay? They told us that these 5 varnas, based on the region, are divided into 3,000 plus jatis. Some call this subcaste. Total number 3,000 plus. That means, if I have to look at the society is more like this. Say Hindus, that's how the whole society is divided. The whole Hindu society is divided. Clear? All the varnas individually, they are further subdivided. And these subdivisions, they are the jatis. So when we talk about marriages, marriage actually takes place within the jati. Not even within the varna. Say Brahmins. Say they are the highest of the jati among the Brahmins and they are the lowest among the jati in the Brahmins. Can a boy of this particular jati marry a girl of this particular jati? Never. The opposite may happen. A girl of this particular jati might be married by a boy of this particular jati. But a girl of this particular jati being married by a boy of this particular jati, no way. Now, let's look at this point. Restrictions on marriages. Similarly, restrictions on professions. Which profession, which particular section they are going to adopt. Right? Say, among the Ati Shudras, someone is a blacksmith. A son of a blacksmith can only be a blacksmith. Say the son of a blacksmith, but he loves pottery. No, he cannot take that as profession. Right? Son of a cobbler would always be a cobbler. That restriction I'm looking at. Similarly, restriction on dining, having food. Who can have food together? Every such rule, everything for that matter, is restricted. Is this concept overall too difficult to understand? Is this the first time you're hearing this concept? But this is sociology. Clear? Now, see. When we obviously here what I did, I just looked at the theories, right? In the class, I'll also be taking up examples, right? From various areas. Say for example, these jatis among the Brahmins. Chalo, let's talk about some of them. Have we heard the surnames Chaturvedi, Trivedi, Dvivedi, Agnihotri? Ever heard of these surnames? Especially in northern India. Who's a Chaturvedi? That's the highest form of Brahmins. They have the right to read all the 4 Vedas. Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharva Veda. All the 4 Vedas they can study. Clear? Trivedi. Okay? Trivedis can study Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda. They can't study the Atharva Veda. Okay? Dvivedi, 2 Vedas, Rigveda, Yajurveda. Neither Samaveda nor Atharva Veda. Agnihotris, they are the ones to do Havana. Agnihotri, Hota of a Havana. They are the ones to do Havana. Clear? So do you realize how things are there? So while going for the, while I'll be taking up the subject, yes, I'll be looking at these various sections. At the same point of time, there are certain variations in northern India and in southern India. I'll also be looking at those aspects. Yes, in southern India, what happened? See, in northern India, time and again, various movements have been happening. Whether you talk about the movement of Gautam Buddha and Mahavir Vardhaman, initially started in northern India, right? Especially Bengal, Bihar, eastern part of UP. For a long period of time, this area was under Buddhist influence. How come? When you'll be studying history of ancient India, you'll come across one Bengali royal household called Palas. You'll study about a 3-party conflict, tripartite conflict. Pal, Pratihar, Rashtrakut. Rashtrakutas are from Maharashtra. Pratiharas are the Rajputs from Rajasthan and Palas from Bengal. The Palas were Buddhists. Till 900 AD, I'm looking at Buddhists dominating western part of Assam, Bengal, Bihar, Jharkhand, Orissa, a major section of Uttar Pradesh, Palas, the Pal Rajvansh of Bengal. Result, given the Buddhist influence, things were not that much stringent. Things got far more watered down. But down south Vindhyas, things have been far more stringent, far more orthodox. So when I look at the caste divisions and the oppression, right, I see that remained in southern India for a far more longer period of time. One typical example, survival of Mulakaram till 1920s in Travancore. Why? Look at geography. That was on the western side of Western Ghat. Who will go there? Right? There was not much contact, other than Palghat Gap, there was not much contact with the Travancore princely state and the rest of India. So these kind of orthodoxies remained there. When I'm looking at the Tamil speaking area, right? Even there, I'm looking at these orthodoxies to be very stringent. Don't you wonder why this self-respect movement, as we talk about, right? It would start in the Tamil speaking area predominantly, Madras Presidency. I'm looking at three stalwarts, P. Tyagraj, C. Mudaliar, T. M. Nair. They would start self-respect movement. Student of P. Tyagraj, E.V. Ramaswamy Naikar, Periyar, will convert this self-respect movement into a political party, Justice Party. And then again, student of Periyar, student of E.V. Ramaswamy Naikar, M. Annadurai, will convert Justice Party into DMK, Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam. Why? Why not in northern India? Because in northern India, things were still getting watered down. Not on the western part of Uttar Pradesh though. That's why I'm looking at, on the western part of Uttar Pradesh, Bahujan Samajwadi Party or parties like that. Clear? This is what I'm looking at. So yes, I'll have to draw references from my history and understand how things have been happening here. Do you know what I'm doing? I'm intentionally taking up areas from paper 2. Just to tell you, just to drive one message, guys, quite often than not, I have seen this among the students, among the faculties as well. Why to deny that? They normally focus only on paper 1 and then they leave it. I have to understand these things in my country, or else my study of paper 2 will never be complete. My understanding of the application will never be complete. See, those who will carry on with me do know that somehow emotionally I'll always be with you people. Right? Why I'll always be with you people? Because this happens especially with the optional students. The day you will be appearing in the examination, practically through you, I will be appearing in the examination. If I am preparing you properly, on the day of examination, it's not just you who will be giving the examination. Through you, I will be giving the examination. Okay. So yes, I will be there emotionally with you throughout. Right. But at the same point of time, I cannot give the exam on your behalf. I can only do so much here in the class. Here in the class, and obviously subsequently as well. My numbers will be there with you people. Please don't share it. Please don't make it public. You have no idea what kind of nonsenses we do face once our numbers become public. I even had a call from one great person at 1:30 p.m. at night, the day before prelims result came out this year. What about the prelims result? I asked him, do I know you? He said, no, but that doesn't matter. It's your number. I said, so you have the right to call me at 1:30 at night. No, it's your mobile number, na? I said, bro, have some sense. People sleep at night. Right? Please don't make you might have grudge against me, but please don't make my numbers public. Right? That will be there with you because that connection should be there. Once the class gets over, things are not done. Once the class gets over, that's just the first reading of the syllabus. Now I would want you to go through whatever I have taught you. Study that. That will be your second reading. Only after your second reading, you'll start understanding things gradually. Now number of questions will come up. So come back. Bring the problems to me. This is a process. I'm least bothered about the time of the class. Classes will go on, classes will get over by 3 months or so. 2 months, 3 months, and the classes will get over. That's not it. That's just the beginning of the process. How many of you have studied sociology previously? Tell me. In your college, in your university, how many of you have studied sociology? Just one person. Let me tell you, she'll be at the biggest risk. A lot of things she has studied, which is completely meaningless. Okay, it's not bad. Okay. Let me tell you why it happens. We'll be studying one thinker called Talcott Parsons. Okay. This guy was extremely organized. Whatever he said is practically synchronized in one chain. Now what happens in the colleges and universities, 4 different teachers approach this same person from 4 different sides. Right? Someone chops off the head, starts looking at the head. Someone chops off the legs, starts looking at the leg. Someone chops off the belly, starts looking at the belly. At the end of the day, the student understands nothing. Right? She has suffered this problem. How do I know? For 4 years in my life, I have been a college teacher. After that, felt completely frustrated, left it. Right? This is what we do in the colleges. Sorry, ma'am. But it's true. Right? It's always preferable if one particular person only approaches that one thinker. Clear? Because that chain has to be understood. That things should be in sync. That synchronization should be there. Or else it's not possible to understand that same person. Okay? Anyway, she may have studied sociology previously. Let me ask you, how can you even think that in 2 months you'll have mastery over the subject? It will take time. Obvious. So please, I need your patience. I am ready to give you my time. But at the same point of time, I need you to work. This cannot be one-way traffic. Clear? And that's the primary reason why I'll be such a nice person behind you. Okay? That's predominantly the reason why I'll be taking up the previous year's questions, that look at what kind of questions are being asked. Clear? That's predominantly about sociology. That's predominantly what I'm going to do here in the class. Okay? There are 2-3 myths as well about sociology. Let me talk about them. Number 1, you have to mug a lot. whatever I discussed in the class today, I took up two major concepts. I discussed them. Did you have to mug them? Guys, this is one subject where you need to understand. You understand the things and develop your spontaneous writing habit. You will qualify in this examination. That 300 plus I'm telling you, I'm actually promising you. That can only be achieved with your understanding and spontaneous writing. Don't mug anything. Please don't mug anything. Point number 2, that said, you have to remember a lot of thinkers, so many names. Without the names, you can write answers of your GS, na? Just now, while studying one particular concept, right? LGBTQ, I took 3 names. I took the name of Naz Foundation, I took the name of Suresh Kumar Kaushal, I took the name of Navdeep Singh Johar. Without these names, your answer will be complete, na? You need these names to justify yourself, whether in GS or in optional. Who fought the case? After that Delhi verdict, Delhi High Court verdict, how did we get that verdict? Who fought the case? Lord Vishnu came down on earth, fought the case on behalf of humanity. No, right? So I need those names. Whether in GS or in optional, doesn't matter. Clear? So now tell me. And the kind of thinkers we have, even M.K. Gandhi is a thinker. Right? B.R. Ambedkar is a thinker. Yeah, we will be studying them. We'll actually study there is a strong debate between M.K. Gandhi and B.R. Ambedkar. We'll study them here in sociology. So difficult to remember the name of M.K. Gandhi. Don't think of UPSC, please. Clear? Now I'm opening the class to you. Any question, any confusion, come out with it. Any problem at all. There would be other problems, there would be so many concerns. Take your time, take 2 minutes time, think of it, come out with it. I need 150 to 180 hours. Right. To finish the course, I need 150 to 180 hours. 150 hours is good enough to finish the syllabus, but I need that 30 hours additional if required. See, not all the time, I cannot expect everyone to understand in equal pace. Right? When going forward with the class, to me, every student will matter. So there are 30 students in the class. Right? 20 students, they have understood. 10 students, they are having problem. I would like to wait. I would like to carry those 10 people with me. Right? So there can be eventualities where I might require that 30 hours additional. That's why I said 150 hours to 180 hours. That's the period, that's the duration that I require. Okay? For notes, 2-3 things I'll be doing. Number 1, no books, please. Whatever you require, I'll be giving you. Notes will come to you in 3 formats. Format number 1, class notes, class dictations. In addition to that, there will be handouts. Right? And then, if I feel that there is a need, I will also be sharing PDFs with you. Say something recent happened. Our class got over. Once the class got over, something new, something unique happened. Right? What will I do? I will be preparing my notes on that and I will be sharing those PDFs with you. Go through this area. Right? Not only that, notes at the same point of time, the prospective questions which can also be from there. Clear? So these three would be my sources. See, tests, what I'll be doing is, after the class, there would be some 8-10 tests. I'm not bothered about that. But with the class, every day, once a topic is over, I would be taking up at least 8 to 10 questions on that topic. If you ask me, those questions matter more than the tests which will be conducted later on. Right? Because those questions immediately, when I'm taking up those questions, what they'll do, number one, they'll give you confidence that I have understood. I can do this. I can deal with this. I need that confidence in you. Clear? Guys, if you are shaky, if your legs are shaking, I know I can't get the best out of you. So I need you confident. So, number one, I need those questions immediately. At the same point of time, just talking about writing answer is easier than writing the answer. Because while writing the answer, you have to structure the answer first, think of it, prepare it accordingly, and then write. And that too within a very short span of reaction time. I need to inculcate that reaction time in you. Right? Have you seen the cricketers going for net practice? Even they do keep on practicing catches, right? That's what those questions will be for us. To speed up that reaction time. Because believe me, there in the exam hall, you'll merely be having some 8 minutes for a 225 word answer. 225 word answer. Clear? So, yes, I need that speed in you. There would be 19 questions for you. 6 long questions, 20 marker. Okay? 13 short notes, 10 marker. 19 questions in all. And the time span? People say 180 minutes, 3 hours. No, it's not 180 minutes. It varies in between 165 to 170 minutes. Within that 165 to 170 minutes, you have to write those 19 answers. Everything here should be taken into consideration, and that's how a professional preparation takes place. We need to take each and every aspect into consideration. Please don't tell me that, okay, wo to ho jayega, or that will happen like that. You leave a single thing to chances, you are playing with your future. I am not a believer in chances. I am not a believer in luck. Get the things done and get the things done here. Clear? That's my approach. If you believe in your luck, congratulations. I have nothing to say. But if you ask me, I would be using one. Have you people ever heard of Clive Lloyd? Clive Lloyd. Never, na? This guy was a legendary captain of West Indies cricket team. He gave West Indies 2 World Cups. The first 2 World Cups, which were won by West Indies cricket team, was under the captaincy of this particular guy. He also took West Indies to the final of the 3rd World Cup, 1983, when finally India will defeat his team. Right? This person, he's a legendary cricket captain, Clive Lloyd. Once he was asked about luck, that you are very lucky. He said, do you know the meaning of luck? Luck is labored under correct knowledge. That's luck. If you ask me, I believe in that luck. Labor under correct knowledge. Clear? So, that's my philosophy.
So, we will be having to give your
Yeah, obviously. Because without the tastes, I know you won't be writing.
So, how may I know how to make my
See, one thing for sure, once the class gets over, I will give you a break of two months at least. Because whatever content I have given you, you need to go through that content first. Right? Once that content you have gone through, I would like to schedule at least 5 tests immediately after that. Those 5 tests, however, would be sectional tests, high chances, to understand your command over various sections. Right? Then again, I would prefer to give you some 2-3 months gap. Right? The problems, what we have been able to identify, work on that. Once you're done with that, after that, maybe again 6 tests, 4 tests or 6 tests, something like that, that will be there. So this way, there would be breaks in between. Right? They would not be continuous now. Because if I schedule continuous tests, they actually become meaningless. At least that's what my understanding is. Clear? So that's how it will be. Clear? Are you thinking about test series only? Okay, weekly tests and all. I'm talking about the regular classes here. Right? Ordinarily, test series as such, we'll talk about that later. I'm not much. Why I don't prefer test series much. I am someone who prefers to work from the ground, from the very beginning, from the word zero, right? In case of test series, I prefer not to take the responsibility. Okay. But fine, let's see. Okay. Anything else? Any other question? No, on both the papers. Why I talked about second paper? Because normally people tend to leave that, excuse that. That's why I talked about paper 2 more. But we have to give equal weightage. Bro, you're not going to appear in paper 2 only. Right? There will be 250 marks in paper 1, 250 marks in paper 2. And I need good marks in both the papers. Clear? So, not just paper 2. Why I said that? Because normally people tend to give less focus to that. In that sense, we need to give more focus to that. Right? If you ask me, equal focus should be given to both paper 1 and to paper 2. Paper 2 is not something which we can play with, which we can leave outside. No, it's not so. Right? Practically, paper 2, if you have heard me how I was talking about things. Yes, I'll be drawing heavily from my history. In sociology, we follow a mechanism called comparative analysis. Where we were, where we are standing today, what has the journey been? In studying paper 2, I'll have to apply this comparative analysis again and again. Clear? So yes, I will be going for the historical aspects as well. I need to. But as per focus is concerned, we'll have to give equal focus to both the papers. Right? Anything else, guys? I am not going to talk about Anthro. To me, no subject is bad, right? if it suits you. Clear? I can talk about sociology. I cannot talk about anthropology. That I cannot. That will be completely unethical on my part. Okay?
That means sociology is not only Indian society, or have to look at some other countries also?
Paper 1 talks about the principles, right? While studying the principles, we look at various areas, not in depth. At times references come, fine. But when we go for paper 2, there I have to go in depth in Indian society. Say for example, even here, while talking about this subject, I have just studied the Hindu section of the society. My discussion is not over yet. Tell me about caste-like division, this segmental division among the Muslims. I am looking at the Memons, Gujarati Memon Muslims, then Daudi Bodas, right? Why just that? If I look at the Muslim section in India properly, what I realize, those having the word Sayyid with their name, right? The descendants of Prophet, they are naturally considered to be superior than any other segment. After them comes the Qurayshis. Why? Prophet himself belonged to the Quraysh section. Qurayshi means those who sacrifice the animals. Okay? So after Sayyids, next comes the Qurayshis. After Qurayshis comes Sarkars, Chaudharis, Khans, those people. Right? Pathans or upper caste Hindu converts. Clear? And then comes everyone else. So practically the same division I'm looking at even among the Muslims in India. Now tell me. That's why I told you that I challenge you. Show me one segment in India, any religious community or any segment for that matter, where caste-like division is not there. You can't. Clear? So that's how the things are. Okay? Anything else? No? Then let's wrap it up. Right? Thank you, class. Thank you, everyone.